Senior night on the farm. Stanford in the huddle. Notre Dame saying, play like Brady Quinn tonight, guys. Good with all that gold. Time now for Determining Factors, brought to you by FanDuel. Matt, let's start with DeShone Kizer and the need for him to be mentally strong tonight.
And for me, it's all about him and protecting the football. He cannot turn the ball over against Stanford. He's had a tendency this year, guys, to throw interceptions, especially down in the red zone. And when you play a team like Stanford, the way they dominate the clock, they dominate time of possession and run the football, every possession is going to be important. DeShone Kizer needs to protect the football.
Yeah, my determining factor is Notre Dame's defense making Stanford's offense one-dimensional. I mean, Stanford's good enough with McCaffrey to beat you running the ball. With Kevin Hogan, they can beat you throwing the ball. Their defense needs to sell out on the run, take the running game away, force them to throw it, put the pressure on the quarterback.
Well, for me, this game's going to come down to production in the red zone. In particular, scoring touchdowns, not kicking field goals. And when you look at this matchup, Notre Dame's defense, number 9 in the country in red zone D. Stanford, 103. So we'll see if that matchup ends up playing out in this particular game.
How do you describe this rivalry? Because you've played in it, Brady.
Look, it's a heated rivalry like many of the other ones that I think Notre Dame plays. But in this particular case tonight, it's got a little something extra on the line. Because I even think Stanford feels like if they get this win, there's an outside chance that they can make it if they win the Pac-12 and get into the playoffs.
You know, the interesting thing with both teams tonight to keep an eye on, both teams are minus in turnover margin. Notre Dame -4, Stanford -2 for the year. You know, that's really overcoming some negative plays. It may not be the team makes the big plays. The team that makes the least amount of bad plays is going to be a key.
Quarterback play. Big discrepancy between the maturity level, at least experience-wise, between the two.
Right. Well, like I said with DeShone Kizer, I mean, he's done a great job. Brady, you know that. I mean, far exceeded expectations with his play. But then you got a guy like Kevin Hogan, a fifth-year singer. Doesn't have the great stats, but he's efficient. He runs this offense, and his ability to run the football also can impact the game.
All right, let's get your take on who's going to win this game. 2 of these gentlemen are predicting Stanford. You'll never guess. You'll never guess who's going with Notre Dame.
This is all that really matters.
Coach.
Is this half the thing. You know,
We'll hear from you guys a little bit later. Now let's get it out to Gus and Joel on the farm.
All right, you're looking at Stanford Stadium, where we've got one of the biggest games of the day between 2 top 10 teams, as 6th-ranked Notre Dame comes into town to take on the 9th-ranked Stanford Cardinal. And a look at the college football playoff top 10. Joel, some things are happening.
I tell you what, craziness is ensuing, although we've got some people holding serve, in particular in the Big Ten with Ohio State, Iowa, and Michigan State, and how about Clemson and Alabama in rivalry games taking care of business earlier this afternoon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner Joel Klatt, and welcome to Stanford, where Notre Dame and the Cardinal have another opportunity to state their case for the college football Final Four.
And you know, to me, the committee is kind of like a jury, right? The jury of the 12, and this is the closing argument for Notre Dame. There's no more games on the schedule. There's no conference championship for Brian Kelly. They got dropped 2 spots last Tuesday night. They know it. They know they need to play better after that close win against Boston College. They need an emphatic victory on the road against a top 10 opponent. That opponent with David Shaw, they do feel like they've got that outside shot at a playoff if chaos ensues. The one thing we do know about Stanford is they're headed down the road next week to face USC in that Pac-12 championship game. But rest assured, they're not looking past this one tonight. They want to beat Notre Dame badly.
All right, speaking of stating your case, there's a young man by the name of Christian McCaffrey that plays for Stanford. He's on the Heisman ballot. He's one of the most versatile players in the nation. A big game tonight against Notre Dame could speak volumes for him.
It could, and he's going to need a big game. After what Derrick Henry did earlier today against Auburn, he's going to need a huge game. But make no mistake about it, Christian McCaffrey is one of the most unique players that we've got in college football. He's so smart, they can line him up anywhere on the offense, and he's got the instincts and ability to hurt you. In fact, Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame head coach, said he's a game wrecker, and he's the one guy that I think Kevin Hogan has to have a focal point on. Get him the ball as many times as possible, in particular early in this game.
All right, Notre Dame has a dynamic quarterback in DeShone Kizer. He can amaze. He threw for over 300 yards last week against Boston College, but 3 interceptions as well. They're looking for a big game from him.
And they need a big game because that ebb and flow of a guy learning how to fight the learning curve early in his career. DeShone Kizer has immense talent. He can run the football, which they're going to need out of him in this game against Stanford as a runner from the backfield. But the ability to take care of the football, exactly what Matt and Brady were saying in the pregame show, if he can stay clean out of the interception ratio, then they've got a great chance to win here on the road.
All right, this is a series that dates back to 1925. Stanford has won the last 3 here. We'll see tonight. And welcome back to Fox College Football, presented by K Jewelers. Stanford, Notre Dame, all set. Time now to join the 3rd member of our team on the sideline. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Gus, senior linebacker Blake Martinez is emotional entering his final game at Stanford Stadium, telling me before his first game his freshman year, Coach David Shaw told him, "Don't be awed by the crowd in the stadium. Keep your composure." Martinez said after 4 years of being unfazed, he's finally going to stop, take it all in, and truly appreciate the atmosphere and emotions of this game. Kevin Hogan agreed, saying it'll be bittersweet hearing his name announced in the starting lineup for the very last time, but said, "The second I take the field, I'll turn that off, be focused, and treat this like any other game, guys."
All right, thank you very much, Molly. This series dates back to the 1925 Rose Bowl, a game in which Newt Rockne led the Irish to their first national championship. Notre Dame leads the series 19-10 last year on a cold and rainy night in South Bend. Notre Dame won it 17-14. Stanford won the toss, and they've elected to receive. Christian McCaffrey back deep. He's 193 yards away from joining Barry Sanders and Antonio Andrews of Western Kentucky as the only players in history to amass 3,000 yards in a season. Tyler Newsome sends it away. And McCaffrey will take a knee in the end zone. So the Cardinal will start at their own 25. Couple of things you want to pay attention to when Stanford has the ball.
We're going to be talking about Christian McCaffrey a lot, but the field general is Kevin Hogan. 33 career wins as a starting quarterback. That is the school record here at Stanford. He's won the conference a couple of times, played in the Rose Bowl a couple of times. This guy does not flinch, and he's going to be facing a defense that also is very experienced, and they're very talented up front. Sheldon Day on the defensive line and Jalen Smith, the linebacker. NFL caliber talents, All-American caliber talents. 69 combined starts between the two of them.
So first down and 10 at the 25. Stanford coming off a 35-22 win against Cal right here. Kevin Hogan didn't throw it many times, but very efficient. McCaffrey, the single setback. And Hogan to throw on first down looking, and he finds McCaffrey out of the backfield. He'll pick up 9 on the first play. Joe Schmidt with the tackle.
This kid is so dynamic. 255 all-purpose yards per game. It's the second most we've seen since Barry Sanders was way up there over the 290 range. This is one of the great seasons that any Pac-12 football player has ever put together. Christian McCaffrey, just a wonderful player.
Second down and 1 at the 34. McCaffrey, the son of former Broncos standout Ed McCaffrey. And this is the Wildcat formation. McCaffrey running with some room. Crosses the 40, gets up to the 43. Joe Schmidt brings him down.
I love what David Shaw is doing early because it's a big game. So what do you have to do? You have to establish your stars. First 2 offensive plays of the game for Stanford go to Christian McCaffrey. David Shaw, one of the best play callers in all of college football, still retains those duties as the head coach.
So a gain of 10. Christian has rushed for at least 100 yards in 9 straight games. And a timeout call by the Cardinal, their first. 14:02 to play in the first quarter. Back right after this. Welcome back. Some celebs in attendance. Alex Rodriguez, one of the greats of all time in Major League Baseball. Joe Staley with the 49ers. Justin Tuck, the Raiders defensive end, former world champion with the New York Giants. And David Robinson, the Admiral, here to see his son Corey play. And then there's Easy Eddie. Watching his son, Christian McCaffrey, who got all of his talent from his mother's side.
That's right. And he'll tell you that because he knows where his meals come from.
That's right. First down and 10 at the 44. There's Christian. The deep man in the I formation. And they give it to McCaffrey. Second man through. Crosses the line of scrimmage. And he'll pick up 4.5, maybe 5 yards on the play. Isaac Rochelle defensively for Notre Dame.
This is just one of the great matchups that you're going to have. Strength against strength. You've got the offensive line for Stanford against this great front seven for Notre Dame, led by Jalen Smith, number 9, as well as Sheldon Day, number 91 up front. When 91 is matched up against Joshua Garnett, number 51, the left guard for Stanford, you want to keep your eyes all over that. That's 2 of the best in all of America.
Second down and 5 at the 49. Notre Dame showing blitz. Hogan back to throw. Gets it away. Far side. Incomplete. Well defended by Devin Butler as he just knocks it out of Devin Kajust's hands.
That's a huge play for Notre Dame. I know it's just the first incompletion, but Devin Butler starting in place of Kavari Russell, their best corner, who was injured last week against BC. So Stanford wants to attack Devin Butler, and he has a successful play here early.
And Stanford to the line of scrimmage quickly, speeding up the pace. Ramond Wright lining up next to Hogan on third down and 5 at the 49. Here's Hogan out of the shotgun. Wants to throw it over the middle. And caught. Not enough for the first down, though. Austin Hooper making the grab, but he goes down immediately.
I think that far side official is going to say that he got the line to gain. Is going to give him this first down. It looks like he needs to get all the way to the 46-yard line. Very close. Initially, Gus, I was with you. I thought he was short of that line to gain. But they're going to give him the first down here. And Kevin Hogan is able to, in the face of pressure, get it to his big wide receiver down the field for a conversion.
So Hooper picking up the first down, a 5-yard gain. Kevin Hogan to the line of scrimmage quickly. Young man from McLean, Virginia. First down and 10 to the 46. And they hand it off. McCaffrey with room, and he crosses the 40 up to the 42. Schmidt with the tackle again. But speaking of Kevin Hogan, here's a young man that grew up a Notre Dame fan. Dozens of family members went to Notre Dame, including his father, Jerry, who passed away last year, and 2 uncles who played football there.
This has always been an emotional game for Kevin. Now you compound that with his last start here at home as a Stanford Cardinal. The emotions have got to be running high for Kevin Hogan. It's important for him to get a few early completions to settle down into this game.
He's 33 and 10 as a starter, the winningest quarterback in Stanford history. That says a lot. McCaffrey jitterbugging, tries to get outside, pulled down. Great pursuit by the Notre Dame defense as Okwara comes up and makes the tackle. He's another special player.
He is. Romeo Okwara, 9 sacks on the year, and he's been terrific up front. 6'4", 270 pounds. He's very powerful, but also has some quickness out on the edge.
Third down and 3 at the 39, opening series for Stanford. Wright comes in at running back. He's the between the tackles guy. Looked like Notre Dame jumped offside, but
I'm shocked they didn't stop that play. There was contact there with 18 Austin Hooper and the defensive end, Sheldon Day.
Here's Hogan to throw it. Steps up in the pocket. He's got wheels. Wants to run. Underneath, and it's caught by Trenton Irwin for a first down. We saw Hogan at the Stanford facility. Not only is he nimble, he's a big guy.
He is a big guy, and this is one of his best assets, is the ability to get out of the pocket, but then keep his eyes down the field and force the defense to make a decision. There, Jalen Smith gets out of pass coverage, comes up after Kevin Hogan, and he's able to dump the ball over the top for another first down.
So that's a gain of 16 yards. First down and 10 at the Notre Dame 23. McCaffrey back in at running back. And Hogan over the middle. Caught. And this is Schultz. Touchdown, Stanford. Dalton Schultz with a 23-yard touchdown. And the Cardinal punch the Irish in the mouth on their opening series.
going to come this way. Kevin Hogan's eyes go right to the left in the vacated area. That's where he finds Dalton Schultz for the easy completion over the middle. And he takes it into the end zone. That's a quality series from Stanford. They were able to run it. They were able to get some big completions, including on third down for an opening drive touchdown for the Stanford Cardinals.
Second touchdown of the season for Dalton Schultz. Well, let's make sure that he crossed the goal line. Looks like he was down prior to crossing the goal line.
Yeah, that left shin sure looked like it was down. The only hard part is you don't know where the ball is. And with the ball behind him, there's the elbow, there's the forearm. Ball clearly not crossed the plane from that viewpoint. And I would venture a guess, partner, to say that one's going to come back. We're going to have first and goal inside the 1.
Dalton Schultz, sophomore from South Jordan, Utah. We don't even have to check in with Mike Pereira. He's been busy. He says, hey, I agree with you guys, so check with me later.
That's right. He was out on Thanksgiving Day doing the NFL game in Detroit. By the way, Mike Pereira, I along with Troy Aikman, I loved your suit. and this one's short of the goal line, isn't it, my friend?
After review, the ball carrier was down prior to crossing the goal line. The ball will be placed at the 1/2-yard line, first down.
So Kevin Hogan will come back onto the field, and Stanford will be faced with a first and goal at the 1. This will be the 10th play of the drive that started at the Cardinal 25-yard line.
And this offense as good as any in these situations, and this is where you see Ramon Wright, number 22, come into the game. This is where he's got the bulk of his touchdowns. He's got 12 on the year.
So Wright, the deep man, out of the I formation. They give it to him, and he won't get back to the line of scrimmage. Great defense by Notre Dame as Jarrett Grace comes up with the tackle for the loss.
And look at Jalen Smith as well, hopping over the play to get in there and be a part of the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. What athleticism from Jalen Smith, and an excellent job up front of playing with leverage, getting low from Notre Dame, and winning the line of scrimmage.
Jarrett Grace suffered a serious leg injury a year ago. Good to see him on the field. Second and goal at the 1. Will they give it a Wright again? No. Play fake. Hogan, Wright, touchdown.
Well, they're going to put Grace right in the predicament. They're going to send this fake right in the face of the defensive end who just made the play. Now he's going to slip right by him, and Hogan, all he has to do is dump it over the top for the touchdown. Well-designed play from Stanford.
So Kevin Hogan throws his 20th touchdown of the season. Conrad Ukropina in for the extra point, and it's good. Stanford scores on their opening drive. Methodical, powerful, precise. 7-zip, Cardinal. Fox College Football presented by Kay Jewelers is sponsored by GameStop. Joy to the players. And by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Our aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires that go the distance inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Stanford leads the nation in time of possession at 35 minutes and 18 seconds. Only 4 teams in the last 20 years have averaged 35 minutes or more over a single season. On their opening drive, they go 11 plays, 75 yards, 8 up, Joel, 5 minutes and 31 seconds.
So you're telling me that was a vintage Stanford drive?
Yes.
Boy, to open the game, they've got to be thrilled with how their offensive line played on that opening series.
C.J. Sanders, Josh Adams back deep for Notre Dame. Here's C.J. Sanders at the 20-yard line. Gets to the 30 with a hole at the 40. Watch out. Breakaway speed down the sideline. The Fighting Irish fake back. Touchdown. 92 yards.
electric from Sanders. It was the one tackle. He's able to get that with the help of the block, breaks the tackle, and then he's gone. The speed to take it the distance. Notre Dame has an explosive team. This is Brian Kelly's most athletic and fastest team that he's had since he's been in South Bend. Evidence on the opening kick.
He had a return of 50 yards for a touchdown on a punt against UMass this year. Electricity in the air, so much on the line for these two teams, and they come out slugging early. These teams first met in the 1925 Rose Bowl game. After that, it took Stanford 38 years to get their first win over Notre Dame in 1963. The Irish last won here in Stanford in 2007. Stanford has won the last 3 meetings at home. Brian Kelly turned 54 last month, 6th year at Notre Dame. He entered the season the 3rd winningest active FBS coach behind Frank Beamer and Steve Spurrier. So the Irish send it away. McCaffrey says, I want one. He starts from the goal line. Crosses the 15. Still running, and he gets up to the 21, maybe the 22 before being stopped. But this kid, C.J. Sanders, impressive off the field. As a 6-year-old, he played a young Ray Charles in the movie Ray, and even got a Twitter shout-out from Jamie Foxx when he committed to Notre Dame. He has 9 movie or TV acting credits to his name. His father, Chris, a flanker at Ohio State, 7-year NFL career. Mom played basketball at Michigan.
Yeah, that's all well and good, but that kick return is something special. All that rehearsed stuff is good, boy. That live kick return was electric.
The last Notre Dame kickoff return touchdown, George Atkinson, the 3rd in 2011 against SC. First down and 10 to the 22 for Stanford. Bryce Love in the game at running back. And they give it to him with space. Love, he's a speedster. And Bryce Love will pick up close to a first down as Elijah Shoemate comes up with the tackle. True freshman from Wake Forest, North Carolina. He's the next special one, they say.
Yeah, he's got some juke to him. He's got some movement to him. What David Shaw does with these true freshmen is he tries to bring them along slowly. He did the same last year with Christian McCaffrey. He doesn't want to overload them early because he doesn't want them to have any sort of failure in their first year. Wants to get them through their first year, playing well and with confidence going into spring ball.
McCaffrey back in, first down and 10 from the 32. Hogan with time, far side, and incomplete. Intended for Austin Hooper. That one thrown a bit high.
And he had some guys right in his face, just unable to follow through. Hooper is a guy that's going to have a mismatch all night long. First of all, he is a really talented tight end as a split tight end. Very Zach Ertz-esque, a former Stanford tight end. He's 6'4", 248 pounds, 26 catches on the year. They target him quite a bit. And you can see why. Athletic enough to split out and get the mismatch in the slot.
Second down and 10 from the 32. And McCaffrey tries to get outside, and he's collared and taken down at the line of scrimmage. Well done, Sheldon Day.
That's exactly why he's one of the best players in America. He's going up against another All-American. Here's the battle. Joshua Garnett against Sheldon Day, and while being blocked is able to reach out and bring Christian McCaffrey to the ground and force this third down opportunity.
Sheldon Day, preseason first-team All-American and 2-time team captain. 3rd and 9 at the 33. 3 receivers at the top of your screen. And Hogan to throw it. Fires down the field. Rector, the intended receiver. Did he get in? No, he didn't. Michael Rector couldn't get his foot down.
Boy, this was a great throw from Kevin Hogan.
Uh-oh.
Boy, that one's close.
That's close.
That is close. You see the staff from Stanford, all the coaches, all the players.
Looks like he tapped that right foot, Joel.
It sure did, didn't he?
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Previous play is under review.
That's exactly where your focus has to go. It's easy to be watching the left foot, but Gus, you hit the nail on the head. That right foot, that toe, the ball of the foot may have been on the turf, when he secured that catch.
All right, let's go to Los Angeles, and we welcome our rules analyst, Mike Pereira. Mike, your thoughts on this play?
You know, I love, Gus, the way you point out the fact that it's the back foot, the right foot, that they're probably going to really concentrate on. There was a bit of a bobble, but he looks to secure it with the toe down. And I think when you look at the left foot, there wouldn't be enough to overturn with that left foot, but the right foot really is enough on the close-up shot that we do have to show some possession and the possibility of an overturn to a catch.
Amazing concentration there, because that ball was actually tipped by Cole Luke, number 36, the corner for Notre Dame. But that right foot, and here's a great view of where it's secure. It looks pretty secure. Boy, this one's going to be close.
And the receivers
interesting,
work on
guys.
that. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, interesting. Now, I just wanted to point out this is an ACC officiating crew, but it is a Pac-12 replay crew. And the reason that they do that is because equipment is different in different conferences, and that's why they lead the home team.
Receiver had his right foot inbounds with possession of the ball. 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line.
Great call, Gus. The right foot. You saw it before any of us. It was easy to focus on that left foot, but boy, Michael Rector did a great job. I mean, the concentration through the tip of Cole Luke to not only secure the catch, but then have the wherewithal to have that right foot down inbounds. And now Stanford with a huge 3rd down conversion there and continue this drive.
That's a gain of 31. Rector coming on 2 weeks ago against Oregon. He had 8 catches for 103 yards. 1st down and 10. Stanford at the Notre Dame 36. Right in at running back. McCaffrey splitting wide in motion right now. They pump it his way. Hogan steps up in the pocket, wants to run it. Hogan getting outside, dives forward. And he gains 7 yards on the play in front of Jalen Smith.
Boy, I thought he had him. They were trying to use Christian McCaffrey as a decoy. Watch 89, Devin Kajus, right side of your screen. He's going to be wide open. He's going to throw his hand up. He wants that ball to come as they try to fake the screen out right before Hogan took off out of the pocket and tried to get as much as he could himself. This is a guy that is a very good runner. In fact, when he was a redshirt freshman and inserted into the lineup as a quarterback, that was the primary reason why he was inserted into the lineup, was his ability to run for 1st downs.
Against Washington State last month, he ran for a career-high 112 yards and 2 touchdowns, Kevin Hogan. 2nd and 3 at the 29. And McCaffrey runs into an Irish wall. They were waiting for him on that side. Isaac Rochelle, Greer Martini.
Martini just came blazing in. He's the outside linebacker. He's not even in your screen. You see his feet up there by the yellow line. He comes on the blitz, and he's right in the face of Christian McCaffrey. It's one of the things that defensive coordinator Brian Van Gorder is known for, is the exotic blitzes, meaning that they will come from anywhere. Very difficult to get a beat on where the defenders will be blitzing from, because this guy has an NFL background.
And Notre Dame wants a timeout. Facing a 3rd and 5. Irish want to talk things over. Fox College Football is presented by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. Welcome back. Joel Klatt picks his top 50 draft prospects in the Fox 50 on foxsports.com/Fox50. Jalen Smith is in the Fox 50 and considered one of the best linebackers in the nation. The Fox 50 is sponsored by Sprint. Visit sprint.com/save 50% to learn more.
Jalen Smith is one of the best linebackers I've seen in college football over the past 2 years. One of 5 finalists for the Butkus Award this year. He was also a finalist a year ago. I would be very surprised if he actually doesn't take home the hardware this year. He's been that good. Came into this game with 98 tackles after 112 a year ago.
3rd down and 5 at the 31. Stanford on the move once again. And he'll give it to McCaffrey on the pitch. And McCaffrey still running. Broke a tackle, crawls his way to the 20. An 8-yard gain, and this kid's so versatile, can do everything on the field.
I love how they're going to use the disguise. This is Bryce Love, who when he's on the field, he's normally getting the ball. Remember I told you earlier, they pick their spots with Bryce Love, so they fake it to him, and they get the pitch out to Christian McCaffrey, and now the toughness. This kid's only 210 pounds, but he runs much heavier than that.
First down and 10. Stanford at the Notre Dame 21. McCaffrey remains in the game. Here's McCaffrey straight ahead this time. Looking for a crease, finds one, and he Harlem shakes through the hole.
Ooh, the Harlem shake. I like that. He did give a little Harlem shake, and he's following his big guard right here, Joshua Garnett. He's going to slide around, and then he's too far inside. That's where he gives him the Harlem shake, Gus. He had to get outside of his guard, 51. There's the shimmy you're talking about. Gets upfield and gets some positive yardage.
Max Redfield brought him down. Not an easy task. 2nd and 6 at the 17. 8 carries, 35 yards already. Notre Dame showing blitz. They give it to McCaffrey. He pops through the hole and gets close to the first down marker. And all great running backs, Joel, have terrific vision. This young man can see it before it happens.
That's right, and he's going to see the blitz coming right here from Notre Dame, and that's why he's going to slide out. Then he gets the crease, and he's able to get the ball north and south. What you see too many times, in particular with young players, and remember McCaffrey's just a sophomore still, is that they panic when there's people in their face and they don't get upfield. McCaffrey, he keeps his calm well.
3rd down and 1 at the 12. Notre Dame unable to stop Stanford on 3rd downs. They jump offside here. Another first. Stanford 5 of 5 on 3rd down conversions now.
That's all veteran.
Offside. Defense. Number 99. Making contact with the lineman. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, it doesn't count on a penalty, but Stanford pretty perfect so far.
Hogan, as a veteran, he understands the importance of things like using the hard cadence. The coaching staff telling us that that's one of the things he's hardest on his teammates about, is having the ability to go on 2 and not just the same cadence every single time. David Shaw loves that about him. He says, guys, we have to be able to do this. And his linemen have responded, and they get a big first down there.
First down and goal at the 7. McCaffrey. And he stood up at the line of scrimmage. Joe Schmidt, first man to him. It's amazing, though, what this man has been able to do at Notre Dame. Brian Kelly, with all the injuries at almost every position this season, except the wide receivers.
Wide receivers have stayed strong, there's no doubt, but they've had the injury to the most important position, the quarterback. Kaiser has had to come in, and guys, Notre Dame has not snapped the football yet. We're getting now inside of the 2.5-minute mark. Because of the kick return, Notre Dame has not run an offensive play. 2nd down and goal at the 6. McCaffrey running right, trying to cut it back. Now bounces it outside, still moving. Notre Dame, terrific pursuit as they bottle him up and take him down. This defense is way too fast at the 2nd level. All the linebackers, Jalen Smith, Joe Schmidt, Greer Martini. The safeties do a great job, including Elijah Shoemate for Brian Van Gorder, the defensive coordinator. When you're trying to go sideways like that, very difficult against the Irish.
3rd down, goal at the 6. Great opportunity for Notre Dame to get off the field and force Stanford to kick a field goal. Hogan looking, throws in the corner. Caught, touchdown, Cardinal. What a grab, Devin Kajust. Folks, here's a kid that we saw walking in the hall yesterday playing a ukulele.
He also had the Google eyeglass going on, something that you only see at Stanford. That is pure physical mismatch. Devin Kajust, 6'4", 227 pounds versus Cole Luke, only 5'11", 193. Kevin Hogan just throws a jump ball, and Kajust comes down with it.
And we talked about Stanford's time of possession. How about this drive as Ukropina comes in to kick the extra point? 12-play drive covering 78 yards. The Cardinals eat up 7 minutes and 24 seconds. And the ukulele player comes up big in the end zone. 14-7 Stanford on top of Notre Dame with 1 minute and 54 remaining in the first quarter.
I think people are going to be asking him to play that ukulele a little bit more now that they know he can play it. You just outed him, Gus. Now everyone is going to expect the song.
I thought I heard him playing a little tiny tiptoe through the tulips.
I don't know that tune, but whatever he was playing, it was pretty good.
Here's the line drive kick, and picked up by Sanders. He gets to the 15-yard line, looking for running room, and finally taken down at the 20. Let's go to Jenny Taft in the studio for Lowe's Game Room.
Hey, thanks, Gus. Number 18, Ole Miss, visiting number 21, Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. Senior Dak Prescott takes a huge hit. He's intercepted by Tony Bridges, who takes it 42 yards for the touchdown. The Rebels have since scored again. It's 28-3 in the second quarter. Gus, Joel, back to you.
All right, so Notre Dame comes on the field. This will be their first offensive play of the game. Stanford has run 23. Deshaun Kaiser in at quarterback. And on first down, he wants to throw it. Kaiser steps into his throw and caught by Will Fuller at the 40-yard line to make it the 43.
They're going to have a clear advantage out there on the outside all night long. Both starting corners out for Stanford. Now they're going to go with Alameen Murphy, number 23, and Terrence Alexander, number 11, because Ronnie Harris and Elijah Holder are both injured.
First down and 10 at the 44. Opening drive for Notre Dame. Here's the handoff. Adams running around the right side with the room. Gets out of bounds. Inside Stanford territory, and a couple of things to pay attention to when Notre Dame has a football.
That's one of them right there. Josh Adams, just a true freshman for Notre Dame, but now with Procise out, you're going to see a lot of Josh Adams in between the tackles and Dexter Williams on the outside. Young running back's going to get a chance to shine here tonight.
Gain of 14 on the play. First down and 10 at the 42 of Stanford. Here's Kaiser underneath. Fuller again with the catch. And I tell you what, we see a lot of Corey Coleman in the Big 12, but Will Fuller, one of the best in the nation.
He is, and he's so fast that Blake Martinez and this Stanford defense are going to have to locate him all the time. Blake Martinez, leading the Pac-12 as a tackler, has to have a big game because they can't commit too much to the run with their safeties with those inexperienced corners on the outside.
Second down and 4 at the 36. And this time they hand it off to Adams. And Adams with the running room. Kevin Palma comes up with the tackle.
This offensive line for Notre Dame as well is just so big and physical. All of them over 300 pounds. Let's just put it this way. The smallest offensive lineman is their center, number 72, Nick Martin. He's 6'4", 301 pounds. This is a fairly light Stanford front. This is a big advantage for the Irish.
First down at the 29 for Notre Dame. Adams remains in the game, the running back. They give it to him with room, and Adams knifing through the Stanford defense. Gets to the 22-yard line. Brings us to the end of the first quarter. It's been all Cardinals so far, but you get the feeling the Irish are ready to come right back at them. 14-7 Stanford, Notre Dame driving. Let's check out the KFC stat comparison.
Well, I mean, Notre Dame ate up some yards there very quickly. Only 5 snaps of the football and held the ball for only 2 minutes and 5 seconds because of that kick return. Stanford doing a great job on their offensive line, but Notre Dame so far in their 5 snaps, their offensive line has owned the line of scrimmage so far.
Second down and 4 at the 23. Kaiser to throw it. Looking long. No, he pulls it down. slides down at the 12. That fooled everybody, including our cameraman.
Well,
It looked like he had an open receiver as well.
and then he really reared back and gave a huge pump and didn't like it at the last second. Last week against Boston College, this team turned it over 3 times inside the red zone, 3 times inside the 5 going in for touchdowns. So very clearly early in this game, Kaiser trying to take care of the ball.
Kaiser threw 3 interceptions in that game. 1st and 10 at the 13. And the handoff to Josh Adams. And Deshaun Kaiser, an interesting story, Joel. Originally the number 3 quarterback behind Everett Golson and Malik Zaire. He ascended to the top spot when Golson transferred to Florida State, and then Zaire broke his ankle in week 2.
On Zaire, that game that he had against Texas was for the ages. I mean, he was so good, and that gave so many Irish fans hope that this was going to be a big year. And all Kaiser's done is stepped in and created that big year that they had expected after that win.
2nd down and 8 at the 11. He wants to run it this time. Breaks it back and pulled down from behind by Blake Martinez.
He's not necessarily a running quarterback, but he is a winner at 8-1 as a starter, and he's run for 371 yards so far, including that long touchdown against Temple earlier this season. They wanted to create some space for him to run tonight against Stanford, and they clearly have done that. 1 on a scramble, they're on the design run. That should help in these situations. 3rd and short inside the 10.
He's 50 yards away from passing Paul Hornung for 6 on the school's all-time single-season list. 3rd down and 3 at the 6. And the handoff goes to Adams. And Adams will be short.
He needed to get all the way to the 3-yard line. It looks like they're going to spot him right at about the 3.5. And Notre Dame's going to stay on the field and use some up-tempo offense and go for it on 4th.
4th down and 1 at the Stanford 4. Adams in the backfield with Deshaun Kaiser. Kaiser, and a flag on the play. Looks like a false start against the Irish.
Snap infraction. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So what they do is the right guard's going to touch the center, Nick Martin. And I thought Nick Martin paused just a little bit too much before he snapped it. And 78, Ronnie Stanley, he leaned a little bit in his stance in that short yardage situation. They get the penalty, and now they're going to have a field goal attempt.
So Justin Yoon comes in. He's made 9 in a row since a week 3 miss versus Virginia from 26 yards away. And good. Notre Dame gets the field goal, 14-10. Stanford leading as Deshaun Kaiser leads Notre Dame to 3 points. Stanford did a great job last week against Cal. They held Cal 3 times inside the 15 last week, forced them to attempt field goals. They do it this time, and the Irish ready to get the football back. Tyler Newsome will send it away for Notre Dame. Christian McCaffrey, the deep man for Stanford. And McCaffrey starts from his own 2. And McCaffrey plowing his way forward as he crosses the 25 to the 27. Here in the 2nd quarter, coming up, Christian McCaffrey back on the field. He's a Heisman candidate. Off to a great start. Fox College Football presented by Kay Jewelers is sponsored by Nissan. Go to NissanHeismanHouse.com to cast your official vote for the next Heisman.
Let's take a look at our Nissan Heisman watch here. Derrick Henry, he got the ball today 46 times in the Iron Bowl. Ran for 271. Number 2 on my list is Christian McCaffrey. This guy is having one of the great seasons in college football history. In fact, now today, 98 total all-purpose yards, which means that he now has passed Reggie Bush for the greatest single season in Pac-12 history in all-purpose yards.
First down and 10 of the 28. McCaffrey. And right now, Notre Dame starting to find some answers for Christian McCaffrey.
And they're doing it with numbers. The safeties being very aggressive towards the line of scrimmage. Elijah Shoemate and Max Redfield coming up quickly from their safety spots in order to be in the run defense when Christian McCaffrey has the ball. What that leads to is play action passes and shots down the field. I would expect some soon from Stanford.
Kajus goes wide to the top of your screen. Rector, the receiver, at the bottom of your screen. Second down and 10 of the 28. Here's Hogan to throw it. Far side. And caught. Kajus had to dig that one out of the turf. But it's a 12-yard gain and a first down for the Cardinal.
Devin Kajus is playing his best football of the season right now. David Shaw saying he's finally healthy. And he does a great job there of securing that ball. Now, I know it touches the ground, but that was secured. The ground didn't help him catch it. It wasn't loose in his hands. Excellent catch on a ball that was a bit short and thrown a little bit too far to the outside.
Last week against Cal, 2 catches, 18 yards. He already has a touchdown today. First and 10 at the 40. Bryce Love in the game at running back. McCaffrey splits out wide.
Timeout, Notre Dame. Second timeout of the half.
So Notre Dame calls a timeout. 14-10.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, the latest from Bedlam in the de facto Big 12 championship game that has playoff implications. The sights from the Sunshine State Showdown, FSU at Florida and Stanford. They now know who they'll see in the Pac-12 championship game. Gus, Joel, we'll see you guys at the break.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. 14-10 Stanford.
They actually reviewed that last play, and it was upheld. Devin Kajus with the catch and with the first down.
First down and 10 at the 40-yard line for Stanford. And they'll hand it off. Love looking for some daylight, and he goes down. Jalen Smith coming up with the tackle.
That's what makes Smith so good. He was all the way on the back side of that play. He was all the way on the defense's right as Stanford was running to the defense's left, and he's just so quick. And he feels so properly right in the correct spot that he's able to make the play for only 2 yards.
Last week against Boston College, Jalen with 11 tackles, 9 solos. Second and 8 at the 42. They pitch it to McCaffrey. Trying to get downhill, and he's roughed up and taken down. Max Redfield said, come here.
Well, they forced another one of these third downs, and this is where Hogan has been good tonight. We talked about him managing his emotions, not only playing Notre Dame, but also his final game at home. Hogan's done a heck of a job tonight. 8 of 10, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's completed 7 different passes to different receivers.
Third down and 4 at the 46. Right in the game. That tailback. Kevin Hogan in no rush. 4 on the play clock. Here's Hogan. Looking. Drops it off incomplete. Probably could have run for it for first down, but Stanford misfiring, and the Cardinal will punt.
Excellent job by Notre Dame's defense. Not only stopping the run, but then good coverage down the field. And remember, they're without Kavari Russell, their best cornerback. So Devin Butler doing a great job. Cole Luke, Shoemate, Redfield, all in the secondary, giving C.J. Sanders a chance here. He's already taken 1 kick back for a touchdown tonight.
First punt of the game for either team is Alex Robinson. Will punt it from his own 33. Sanders back deep at the 15. He backpedals. Signals for the fair catch and has it inside the 10. So coming up, Deshaun Kaiser will get another shot at it. Notre Dame's offense on the field right after this break. Fox College Football presented by Kay Jewelers is sponsored by Fallout 4, the next generation of open world gaming, available now. 14-10, Stanford with the lead. 9:21 to go in the second quarter. And ball control, the big stat thus far.
16 minutes time of possession for Stanford, but an excellent drive for Notre Dame's defense on the last series. It's their first series that they were able to force a kick, get the ball back for their offense, who's only snapped the football 9 times tonight.
Fighting Irish starting from their own 9-yard line. Deshaun Kaiser lines up in the shotgun, empty backfield. Here's Kaiser sprinting out to the near side and incomplete. Chris Brown, the intended receiver. Looks like there was some confusion on the line of scrimmage for Notre Dame.
Well, they were trying to have their running back, Josh Adams, who, remember, is filling in for C.J. Prosise. And they tried to have him switch and come out there. They're having to tell him to play. Now he's out there. He's got to go fast down the field. He wasn't able to get down there and clear out the vacated zone.
Remember, Adams is a freshman, 2nd and 10. Kaiser gives it to Adams around the corner with the running room, and he picks up a first down. As Blake Martinez knocks him out of play, but it's a 13-yard gain.
Such an impressive young running back Josh Adams is. 6'1", over 210 pounds, from Pennsylvania, and he's got speed. Earlier this year, he had a 98-yard touchdown run. It's the longest touchdown run by a true freshman in FBS history.
6 carries, 44 yards for Adams. First down and 10. Notre Dame with some breathing room at the 22. Flag on the play. And it looked like Stanford may have jumped offside.
I think that was Brennan Scarlett, number 17, who was right next to the ball.
Offside. Defense, number 17. 5-yard penalty. First down.
There's Brennan Scarlett, number 17. First graduate transfer in this program's history. Came over from Cal just across the bay. He's been a huge addition for them because they were so thin up front all year. He's only 264 pounds, a senior from Portland, Oregon. He's played very well this year.
First down and 5. Kaiser play fake over the middle. Caught. A lot of running room here as the Irish catch the Cardinal. Torrey Hunter Jr. with a 20-yard reception.
And Notre Dame has been moving the ball at will. They just got caught up with that penalty inside their own 5 on the last series. But everything they've been doing tonight has worked. Running the ball, throwing the ball. Kaiser looks relaxed and poised in the pocket so far.
23rd catch of the season for Hunter Jr. First and 10. And they'll run it. Huge opening for Kaiser. Another first down for the Irish.
This offensive line just winning the battle up front. Kaiser has got some good ability in the run game, and they're showing it off tonight. Design quarterback runs. Josh Adams gets a block, and it's a first down.
And they'll run it again, Josh Adams. And this time Blake Martinez grabs him and brings him down.
The goal tonight for Stanford, they know they're going to give up some yards, but this has got to be a bend, don't break style where they don't give up big plays for touchdowns. If they can force Notre Dame to snap it 10, 11, 12 times, they're hoping Notre Dame makes a mistake on one of those series.
Second down and 8 at the 37. Kaiser sprints out to his right this time, throws on the move, and it's a dart and a strike to Fuller. Will Fuller with another catch. He's led Notre Dame in receptions, yards, and touchdowns in 2014. Leads in all 3 categories this year.
And I love how Kaiser is playing in response to what he was last week. Remember, against Boston College at Fenway Park, did not play well. Probably his worst game of the season, and he's responded tonight. He's playing fantastic.
And they'll run it near side. A lot of room again for Notre Dame. A first down. It's Torrey Hunter. On the end around, a gain of 13.
Torrey Hunter, 6', 195. Of course, his father played the big leagues for so long, just retired. But Torrey Hunter being utilized now in any way that they can get him the ball because of his explosiveness. And you're seeing all the players touch the football. This game plan is really solid from Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame offensive staff.
Came into this game with 5 rushes for 16 yards. Picked up 13 on that play. First down and 10. At the 13. Dexter Williams in at running back. They give it to Dexter. And he tries to slide through the hole. Picks up 2.5, maybe 3. Alfieri with the tackle for the Cardinal.
It's pretty clear that Stanford is not going to give in to trying to stop the run. Again, they're going to let them move the ball, get down here inside the 10, inside the 15, and try to force them into field goals.
2nd down and 7. Adams back in at running back. Kaiser, quarterback draw, breaks the tackle. And Aziz Chatou stops him after a 3-yard gain.
You see, in the normal course of play, the safeties are so deep that they're gaining a lot of yards. But now inside the 10, those safeties become much closer to the line of scrimmage, and it's harder for Notre Dame to move the ball. That's why they're, again, in this 3rd down situation.
3rd down and 4 at the 7. Here comes a blitz. Kaiser off his back foot in the end zone, incomplete. Stanford waited until the very last moment to show that blitz.
And they did a great job in disguise. The safety, number 5, Cody Whitfield, he's way up here. He's going to be the last guy that comes, but he's the one that actually is in Deshaun Kaiser's face and forces him to throw it before he wants to. But because they disguised it and held it for so long, the offensive line wasn't prepared for that.
And Notre Dame brings on the field goal unit. Justin Yu just tied John Carney for 4th all-time at Notre Dame with his 26-yard field goal earlier. This one from 25 yards away. And it's perfect. Once again, the Irish have to settle for 3, but they're getting closer. 14-13. It all comes down to one game next Saturday, folks, for Michigan State and Iowa. The 5th-ranked Spartans and 4th-ranked Hawkeyes will play for the Big Ten Championship and a possible college football playoff berth. Don't miss a second of the action starting next Saturday at 7 Eastern, only on Fox. Iowa ending the season undefeated. Michigan State with only 1 loss. Hawkeyes beating Nebraska on the road this weekend. Michigan State pounding Penn State. That's a playoff game.
That is a quarterfinal game. There's no question. I'm tired of people griping about Iowa's resume. Hey, they're undefeated. If it was so difficult, why didn't those teams do it?
Well, talk to your boy Colin Cowherd about that. I heard he's pretty hard on the Hawkeyes this year. All right, McCaffrey gets it at 20. Let's go to Jenny Taft for a game break.
Well, Gus, LSU looking to snap a 3-game losing streak hosting Texas A&M Aggies. Kyle Allen finds Ricky Seals-Jones. 8-yard score. Aggies up 7-6 in the 2nd quarter. And could this be Les Miles' last game as LSU head coach?
Now, to tell you what, if Les Miles does leave Baton Rouge, there's one candidate out there, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. If they don't go get him, if somebody doesn't go get him.
He says he's happy, but I'm with you, man. He's done a remarkable job at Oklahoma State.
He's done it with 2- and 3-star recruits. Could you imagine him with 5-star recruits?
I don't understand what LSU is thinking, by the way. I mean, Les Miles is a heck of a coach.
1st down and 10 to the 21. Hogan in trouble, and Hogan sacked. Greer Martini shaken, not stirred. Comes up with the big play on defense.
Well, you can only get it shaken and not stirred if you got time to shake it, right? He had all the time in the world to get there because of the coverage down the field on the Stanford wide receivers. Man coverage being played by Notre Dame. Hogan had nowhere to go with the ball, and then the rush was beautiful from Martini.
And that's a loss of 7 yards. 2nd down and 17 at the 14. Stanford now. Are they blinking? Notre Dame bringing a lot of pressure. McCaffrey, nothing. Physical football, Jalen Smith and the Irish finding their mojo here in Northern California.
Here's the block that they're going to try to take place, but he just runs around it. The offensive lineman, Casey Tucker, 77, had no time to get there because of how fast best Jalon Smith is. That's why he's one of the best in America, folks.
And he's the captain as well. 3rd down and 18 at the 13. 100 tackles in back-to-back seasons. Manti Te'o, last member of Notre Dame to do it. Here's Hogan, the throw, a screen, McCaffrey in space at the 20. And McCaffrey, they ran right through him. What a defensive play by Elijah Shoemate. He ran right through him and brought him down.
This reminded me so much of the screen pass last week against Cal that McCaffrey actually took to the house because it was defended well early, but then he makes the player miss, and you think he's got green grass. And Shoemate with an excellent open field tackle. That's as good as you can do it. His head was on the outside of Christian McCaffrey, and he brought him down from the legs down. Wonderful job.
He needed 18. McCaffrey gets 14. Alex Robinson in the punt. At his own 14-yard line, C.J. Sanders back deep at the 36. Low snap, handle. This one fielded at the 34. Sanders trying to get outside and does. At the 40, flag on the play as he steps out of bounds at the 44. A 39-yard punt and a 10-yard return.
Number 5, Niles Morgan. He was diving after Greg Tabuada. Actually blocked him below the waist and from behind. And the flags came out immediately.
During the return, illegal block in the back on the receiving team. Number 5, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
On the left side of your screen, there's 5, Niles Morgan. You're going to see he's kind of pushing, and then he dives right at the ankles of the tight end, Greg Tabuada.
So with 2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining, Stanford up by a penny. Notre Dame takes over. The Irish offensively they've been moving the football, Joel, but when they get inside the red zone, they've had to settle for field goals.
And just look how deep Stanford is playing. Left side of your screen, the safety, good 15, 20 yards deep, just trying not to give up the big play.
1st down from the 27. Kaiser fires deep, looking for Fuller. Bam! Fuller down the sideline. Touchdown, Notre Dame. 73 yards.
Boy, putting Fuller in one-on-one coverage is an awful tough task for Terrence Alexander, a backup corner, because Fuller is one of the fastest players in America. And he shows it there. Beautiful pass from Kaiser, right in stride, and the exact thing that Stanford was trying to protect from. The big play comes in to bite him. 4 catches for 113 yards and a touch for Will Fuller.
The junior from Philly, and how sweet and pretty that one looked. As Yu adds the extra point. 20-14. Pitch and catch. Will Fuller with the 73-yard touchdown. And I tell you, this kid has just had an incredible career at Notre Dame.
And you're amongst those names. Yes, you've had a remarkable career. Michael Floyd leads Notre Dame all time in touchdown catches with 37, but Will Fuller very soundly in the 2nd spot.
Only Baylor's Corey Coleman has more receiving touchdowns the last 2 years than Fuller. And Stanford takes a knee. They'll get it at their 25. So interesting turn of events, Joel, here at Stanford Stadium. The Cardinal held the ball for almost the entire 1st quarter. When Notre Dame finally got it, they did something with it. And now they have the lead.
Well, this game plan for Stanford is playing out like this. They feel like their offense is going to have to play a little defense for them. With all the injuries they've got going on, with that big offensive line for Notre Dame, they've got to hold the ball for a long period of time, which they were able to do in the 1st quarter, and they developed a lead because of it. But the problem is, in the last 2 series, Jalon Smith and this Irish defense, they have been flying around and stopping the run and taking Stanford out of what they want to do. And now, here you see Kevin Hogan coming out in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers.
Notre Dame, 13 straight points to take their first lead of the game. McCaffrey running, and McCaffrey cuts it inside and picks up a first down. He'll gain 11 on the play. Andrew Trumbetti coming up with the stop.
It's pretty clear that the traditional Stanford run game with all the extra tight ends and fullbacks, that was not working against this big Notre Dame front, so they went to a spread set in order to run it with McCaffrey, and it worked much better on that first down play.
Stanford with 2 timeouts remaining, 1st and 10. Hogan underneath, and it's caught. It's Hooper with the grab, another first down for the Cardinal. Elijah Shoemate with the tackle coming out of a safety spot.
One of the things that you learn as a quarterback is that when a blitz comes, you replace the blitz with the ball. And that's exactly what Kevin Hogan did there with Matthias Farley bearing down on him.
First down at the 48-yard line. 1:33 to go. Hogan lets him rip down the field. He's got a receiver. Caught. Beautiful play. Devin Kajust again.
Kajus has gotten loose a little bit in this second quarter. You see the outside leverage being played by the defensive backs there, and he's able to just run right on the inside in front of him. That was Matthias Farley, a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, and on the coverage, he just got too far to the outside and allowed Kajus a free lane down the field.
3 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown for Devin Kajust.
They've taken this game out of the phone booth on this series. They've gotten it away from Jalon Smith. Excellent job by David Shaw on the play calling.
First down and 10 at the 14. Let's see if they go back in the phone booth. No. Near side, Rector. Can he make the first man miss? Yes! Rector, swinging, touchdown, Cardinal.
And the chess match continues. David Shaw putting the ball on the outside, using the spread sets, allowing his senior quarterback to make the decisions in the passing game, and it pays off with a strong series here to close out the second quarter.
3 touchdown passes in the first half for Kevin Hogan. 48 seconds to go. This one for the lead by Uprokina, and the Cardinal have it. Devin Kajust, ukulele, coming up with some sweet music in the first half. And Stanford and Notre Dame battling. David Shaw, what a job he's done. 43 years old in his 5th year at Stanford. 3 BCS bowls in his first 3 years. The Fiesta in 2011, the Rose in 12 and 13. Michael Rector doing a terrific job, Joe, breaking that tackle.
Remember when people thought David Shaw was just
a Jim Harbaugh?
He was just going to kind of slowly fade into the night, and this program would eventually go away because Harbaugh wasn't here, and they've remained strong and even gotten stronger.
C.J. Sanders inside his 5. And he gets up to the 25-yard line. Now let's go to Los Angeles and check in with Jenny Taft.
Thanks, Gus. Bedlam in Stillwater. Number 3, Oklahoma facing number 11, Oklahoma State. J.W. Walsh to Juwan Seals' 26-yard touchdown. The Cowboys on top 10-7 in the first quarter in the unofficial Big 12 championship game. Gus, Joel, keep you posted.
All right, thank you very much. I'm sure Boone Pickens Stadium is rocking. We were there last week, Joel.
We saw a great game against TCU with them rocking Baylor last week, going in and beating Oklahoma State.
Baylor losing to TCU yesterday, 1st and 10 of the 25. And Kaiser wants to run it. Does, and is brought down from behind by Mike Tyler. Stanford, Notre Dame, similar programs. They recruit
Timeout of the half.
nationally.
Timeout.
Most college programs are regional programs, but Brian Kelly and David Shaw, they take it all over the country.
21-20, Stanford. Ranked 9th in the nation, leading 6th ranked Notre Dame. Don't forget, coming up, the State Farm halftime report. Rob and the guys, plenty to talk about in college football. 2nd down and 6 for Notre Dame. Kaiser to throw it. Far side, incomplete. Amir Carlisle, the intended receiver.
It's interesting what Stanford's doing. They understand the threat of Will Fuller, and in particular here under 40 seconds to play. They double-teamed Fuller on that last snap. Ran a safety way over the top to the far side of the field on top of Will Fuller so that Notre Dame couldn't try one of those go routes that they just scored on in their last series.
Third down and 6 at the 29. Notre Dame out of timeouts. Kaiser runs it with space, hesitation, breaks a tackle on his feet. Kaiser still on the move. Look at him go out of bounds inside the Stanford 25.
This is a different player than what Notre Dame's fans saw a week ago. These are great decisions that he's being careful with the football, and yet he's also a playmaker. David Shaw, got to get this corrected with this defense. Too many big plays against this Stanford defense so far.
First down and 10 at the 23. 21 seconds remaining. Kaiser looking, pulls it down, and that's the ball, and the Cardinal have it. That's the Deshaun Kaiser we saw last week. Turnover prone. As Brennan Scarlett stripped it out of his hands.
Anytime you move up in the pocket as a quarterback, both hands have to be on the football. If you start running in that condensed space with the ball only in one hand, it's going to hit the ground, period. And it does there after Brennan Scarlett's able to strip it out. Shaw loves it.
So with 12 seconds remaining, Kevin Hogan will get his guys to the line of scrimmage and take a knee. What a first half, though. 21-20 Stanford. Don't forget, Notre Dame gets the ball to start the second half. And that's it for the first half. Stanford up by 1 right now. Let's send you to Rob Stone in the studio. And welcome back to Fox College Football presented by Kay Jewelers. We're ready to start the second half here at Stanford. And what a game we have so far. The Cardinal on top of the Irish, 21-20. Gus Johnson along with Joel Klatt. Joel, I tell you what, man. Some big plays in that first half.
There were some huge plays and some opportunities that were created that weren't capitalized on from Notre Dame. First, it was about Kevin Hogan. I thought that he was managing his emotions, in particular early, beautifully. 180 pass yards during the course of this first half and 3 touchdowns. They jumped out to that early lead. Then it was the opportunities that Notre Dame didn't capitalize on. Driving the ball down into the red zone, having to kick 2 field goals, and then that 2-minute series that was so good from Kaiser ends when he stripped and they turn the ball over inside the 30-yard line. So in the all-important stat of points per trip inside the 40, you see that Stanford is taking care of business. 3 trips, 3 touchdowns, where Notre Dame is faltering in their 3 trips, only the 2 field goals.
So we're ready to start the third quarter. And Notre Dame will get the football as you take a look at our first half stats.
That time of possession just jumps off the board. 20 minutes and 15 seconds for Stanford, and then the 1 turnover that was so costly. But pay attention to Notre Dame's yards per play, 11.7. Like you just mentioned, Gus, explosiveness, and they had it in spades early in this game.
Jake Bailey will send it away for Stanford. C.J. Sanders, who returned one for a touchdown on a kick return in the first half. The deep man for Notre Dame. And here's Sanders from his own goal line. And Sanders chopped down at the 15-yard line. Terrific special teams play by Brandon Simmons. Now let's go downstairs to Molly McGrath.
Well, guys, David Shaw told me that Stanford's last touchdown drive really opened things up for them offensively, but he wants to keep that momentum heading into the second half by moving the ball. He wants to see some more big plays from his offense. Shaw very happy with Kevin Hogan's performance. He acknowledged this game is as emotional as it gets, but said, Kevin is our leader. He'll be steady. When I asked Brian Kelly about slowing down Stanford, he said, we both got problems. They'll have to slow us down, too. He expects Deshaun Kaiser to have a lot of confidence in this second half, guys.
All right, Kaiser with 146 passing yards in the first half, 85 rushing yards. They start from his own 15, and he runs the football. And Kaiser gets up to the 19-yard line. Terrence Alexander with the tackle.
That's already his 8th rush of the game. Gone for 89 yards, 11 per carry. He averages just 9 carries per game. So clearly a point of this coaching staff to get Deshaun Kaiser involved in the run game early and often.
Second down and 6 at the 19-yard line. Kaiser drops it off underneath Chris Brown, and Brown gets to the 25.
These wide receivers for Notre Dame are so explosive. You just hold your breath every time that they get a catch and have any sort of crease or space between Chris Brown and Will Fuller, Amir Carlisle.
Last week against Boston College, Chris Brown had his first career 100-yard game, 6 catches for 104 and a touchdown. First and 10 at the 26. Josh Adams in the backfield. Kaiser steps back, looking off his back foot. He's got Adams and caught out of bounds. Great play as they gained 22 yards.
And he took a huge hit in the pocket. I mean, Adams isn't anywhere close to open yet, and he just throws it perfectly down the field, knowing where Adams is headed, and Adams is able to catch that one like a punt. But Kaiser with great timing in the pocket.
First down, Notre Dame at their own 48. Kaiser whips one in, and it's caught at the 43-yard line by Fuller. Will Fuller gobbling the football up. But I tell you what, Deshaun Kaiser's accuracy, it's been tremendous this evening.
Yeah, much better than it was a week ago. You know, and typically when you get these teams that are so good offensively, if they struggle in one week, they're going to bounce back and play much better the next, and that's been the case here tonight with Notre Dame.
Second down and 1. And Kaiser running the football, gets to the 40, cuts it back, and he's tackled inside the 35. And you said something in our meeting yesterday about a quarterback that's as young as he is at this point of the season is trying to figure things out for himself when he should.
Well, yeah, you know, what you do is you trust everything that a coach says in your first couple of starts, in particular when you come in an injury situation, and sometimes you think that you know too much about 6, 7, 8 starts into your career.
Kaiser down the field, he's got his receiver, incomplete. He had Torrey Hunter Jr.
That was another beautiful pass from Kaiser. And what I was meaning there is you start to try to create things because you think, oh, I've got this. It's like when you're learning to ride a bike and you take the training wheels off about 6 or 7 days into it. This is the 6, 7, 8 start now for Kaiser, and all of a sudden there was some wobbliness against Boston College, and he's come back beautifully tonight.
Second and 10 at the 33. Coach Kelly said that he's just scratching the surface. Here's a handoff to Adams with a blocker, follows it, stays on his feet, and gets out of bounds at the 15. And there are some pads clicking on that field right now.
How about Nick Wishart, number 82? That was a huge block, and I gotta love Adams. He's just gonna ride that block, and then he just runs right over Wishart. Oh, what a tremendous job. Throws him into the block, then continues to run. This Notre Dame offense has not been stopped between the 20-yard lines. They've gone up and down the field, but this is when they've had problems, when they've gotten into the red zone.
First down and 10 at the 16, opening series of the second half for Notre Dame. And the handoff to Adams. And he's dragged down from behind at the 12 by Callum Bailly after a 4-yard gain.
There's so much space to operate in the interior when they're at the 50-yard line, because with Will Fuller on the outside, the safeties have to play 15, 20 yards deep. But now that deep threat doesn't exist because of the back of the end zone, which makes it much more difficult for Notre Dame to move the ball because the safeties are much tighter to the line of scrimmage.
Fuller in motion. And Kaiser looking at him. Kaiser going through his progressions. Drops it up. Amir Carlisle incomplete. He tried to turn his head a little bit too quickly before he secured the football.
He was wide open. He's thinking he's going to get to that pylon and score a touchdown. He just turns his head a little too quickly as he's trying to double clutch that ball, and it comes loose. He's actually lucky that that didn't fall into some Stanford hands as it was tipped and in the air.
3rd down and 6 at the 12. 10th play of the drive that started at the Notre Dame 15.
This has been the blueprint all night. Struggling in the red zone.
Kaiser drops back. Looking. Lost it in the end zone and incomplete out of the end zone. Corey Robinson, the intended receiver. And Notre Dame will bring on the field goal unit. As Yoon has been perfect, 2 for 2. He's hit a 25 and a 26-yarder. This young man was a top 3 kicking prospect by every service in the country, coming out of Milton Academy in Massachusetts. Deshaun Kaiser is his holder from 29 yards away. Three for 3. You perfect on the night. Notre Dame back on top, 23-21. Aflac is there to help cover the gaps when a sickness or injury gets in your way, trips you up, or slows you down in life. Just like the gaps in this game, we all need extra coverage. Joel, what does Notre Dame need to do to cover the gaps here?
They have got to have an answer in the red zone. 3 red zone trips now, 3 field goals. They lost the fumble in that last series of the first half, the 23-yard line. It's almost like they would be better served scoring from the 50 or the opposite 40, because Fuller can take the top off the defense, rather than when they get inside of the 20 and they start having to go sideways, all of a sudden that very small and athletic front for Stanford becomes much more dynamic.
Christian McCaffrey back deep as Tyler Newsome kicks it off. And Newsome sends it into the end zone. McCaffrey. And McCaffrey up to the 25. 23-21 Notre Dame. Christian McCaffrey, Heisman hopeful, back on the field right after this. Fox College Football, presented by Kay Jewelers, is sponsored by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA. And our aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires that go the distance inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Stanford Stadium. 23-21. Notre Dame ranked 6th in the nation. Stanford ranked 9th. Kevin Hogan has been brilliant. 12 of 15, 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's hit 7 different receivers. He starts from his own 24. McCaffrey. And he gets to the 30, flag on the play. Smith with the tackle.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
McCaffrey is so good at getting skinny and finding tight spaces in order to gain yardage, and he does it there. But Jerry Tillery, true freshman from Shreveport, Louisiana, 6'6", 305, reaches out, grabs a little face mask, and that's going to give Stanford a little juice on this series.
So a 6-yard gain plus the face mask penalty. David Shaw and the Cardinal now 1st and 10 at their own 45.
You know, they've gone to these spread sets, 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers in order to run the football, trying to spread Notre Dame out.
Ramon Wright in the game and running back. And they give it to him straight ahead. And Wright wrestled down after a 3-yard gain by Smith again.
This defense has done a really good job between the tackles. Stanford only running the ball for 3.3 yards per carry tonight. So Hogan has had to carry the day. 12 of 15, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. McCaffrey, 16 rushes, only 61 yards on the ground, but does have a couple of catches. And Devin Kajust, who's been very big on the outside, 56 yards and a touchdown.
2nd and 7. Here comes a blitz. Stanford picks it up. Hogan steps up, and Hogan breaks a tackle and is knocked out of bounds after he crossed the line of scrimmage. Didn't look like a late hit from up here. But Hogan is a big man, 6'4", 218.
And the only reason he had any time whatsoever is because Christian McCaffrey comes across and gets a great block on the blitz. There's a free rusher. McCaffrey goes down low, but there was nowhere to go with the ball. Hogan escapes the rush eventually and is able to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 7 at the 48. Here's Hogan. Steps into his throw. He's got a wide open receiver. Kajust again. 42 yards.
You're going to see Elijah Shoemate, 22. He runs right by Kajust. A blown coverage from Notre Dame, and the experienced quarterback makes him pay. So many times you see blown coverages in the back end, and the quarterbacks are unable to take advantage. But when you have experience, Kevin Hogan has seen every look imaginable, and he finds the open man down the field.
1st and goal at the 10-yard line for Stanford. Hogan running it. Still on the move. And down inside the 5. Devin Butler comes in and takes his legs out.
It's not going to quite have the yardage that they thought, because he actually fumbled right at the end of that play. The beanbags came out of the officials' pockets, so he's not going to be down near the 2 as he's reaching for the 2-yard line. The ball actually came back. They marked that back at the 5 after the recovery. That should be reviewed, and those yards given to him. That's a 3-yard difference. That elbow was absolutely down.
And it looks like they will review the play.
The ruling on the field of the previous play is under review. There is no timeout and there's no foul in the play for the review.
So they'll take another look at it. As you mentioned, looked like Kevin Hogan's elbow was down.
Well, these 3 yards in this part of the field are so big. The ball is clearly secure, not coming loose. And then right there, as the elbow hits, he's down. Ball still secure, which is going to give him 3 more yards. Here he's reaching towards the 2-yard line. Ball comes loose. Now Johnny Casper's 57 eventually fell on it, so it's not a change of possession type of deal at all, but they gave him the ball back at the 5.
Bang, bang play. So Kevin Hogan, one thing you can say about him, when we talked to his coaches yesterday at the Stanford facility, the word that describes him as a football player is gritty.
Yes, a gritty player and perspective as well.
After review, the ball carrier's elbow was down at the 3-yard line prior to the ball coming loose. The ball be placed at the 3.
So they're going to get 2 more yards, not the 3 that I thought they were going to get. But perspective for Hogan. Last year, he played the entire season knowing that his father, Jerry, was dealing with cancer. And at the end of the year, his mom called him and said, Kevin, you need to come home and spend some time with your dad. Eventually, Jerry lost that fight. The next game that Kevin played was against UCLA. He went out and played what David Shaw said was the most beautiful game at quarterback he's ever seen. He said it was like music to his ears watching him play against UCLA. That perspective has led them into this season, and as a leader, he has been able to give that perspective to his teammates.
Second down and goal at the 3 for Stanford. McCaffrey, the deep man, out of the eye. They pitch it to him near side. McCaffrey out of bounds at the 1.
I'll tell you, I absolutely love watching these two players play against each other. McCaffrey, one of the best in America, and Jalen Smith. He's coming in, he's flying all over the place. Just out of bounds at the half-yard line. But these two guys, I tell you, matchups, you know, Gus, it's like a boxing match, right? Styles make fights. These guys' styles are perfect for one another because it's all about athleticism and quickness.
Third down and goal at the 1. Wright comes in. Power formation for Stanford. Wright dives. Touchdown.
This is what Stanford does so well. Look how low they get. Short yardage football is all about leverage. As you see the ball just touching the goal line for the touchdown for Ramon Wright. No team in college football plays with better leverage than Stanford, getting their pads underneath the defense.
24 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons from Ramon Wright. 2 last week. All 24 have been in goal-to-goal situations. Extra point is good. Stanford reclaiming the lead. Wright over the top. Terrific battle developing between 2 top 10 teams. 4th lead change in the last 10 minutes. Stanford on top of Notre Dame as the Fighting Irish prepare to get it back. Jake Bailey kicking it away. Sanders, Adams back deep. Sanders brings it out of his own end zone. And Sanders will not go far as he's taken down at the 12. Craig Jones with the tackle on special teams. Turn the water on. Turn the water on, Joel.
Ricky Waters. How good was he?
He was awesome.
Man, loved watching him play both levels. And Torrey Hunter, obviously, from Notre Dame as his son, Torrey Hunter Jr. Back on the field here offensively with Notre Dame, who has not been stopped all night long. 10.5 yards per play for Notre Dame. Problem hasn't been these situations. It's been once they get inside the 20. They're unable to punch it in against the Stanford defense.
First down and 10 at the 14-yard line for Deshaun Kaiser. Josh Adams lining up in the backfield. Adams running right. Adams with all sorts of running room as he dives forward and picks up about 10 yards on the play. Blake Martinez had to hang on to his ankle.
Josh Adams runs so hard for a young player. Normally you don't get that type of aggressiveness until you've got a player that has confidence and experience. But the aggressive nature to finish runs clearly with Josh Adams, even as a true freshman out of Pennsylvania.
Last week, 13 carries, 39 yards. He's got 77 yards rushing so far. First and 10 at the 25. Kaiser steps into his throw, and he skips this one to Chris Brown.
This is a big moment for a guy like Chris Brown, a senior from South Carolina. Brown has been more vocal as a leader in the past couple of weeks, trying to get Deshaun Kaiser to relax and play with more fluidity, which he's done during the course of this game. But even Will Fuller, who is struggling with drops, Chris Brown has been vocal with him as well. Now been through the battles, having some success himself, trying to will his teammates to better play.
Second and 10 at the 25. Kaiser wants to run it. Follows his blocks. And he gets to the 35-yard line before being stopped. Looks like he's got a first down.
Quentin Nelson, the guard's going to come around. I mean, this is just a convoy of Notre Dame players as Kaiser fakes to the left. It's a little quarterback counter, and then he does a nice job of finishing behind his pads, lowering his pads and getting close to that first down marker. This big offensive line for Notre Dame has just mowed over the front seven of Stanford until they get into the red zone, and that's when the safeties can start helping in the run game.
Looks like Notre Dame will be short of the first down. Kaiser already with 100 yards rushing. I saw it in the Ohio State-Michigan game today. J.T. Barrett and that quarterback run, so effective on the road against the Wolverines.
In particular when, see, with Fuller out there, both safeties, Gus, have to play so deep and so far that there's only 7 players to defend the run. And when there's only 7 and the quarterback runs, there's no one to defend the quarterback run. They have to get the extra player down. And Stanford doesn't have that because of the explosiveness of Will Fuller. That's allowed Kaiser to have a huge night running the football, as you mentioned earlier, over 100 yards.
10 carries, 109 yards rushing for Deshaun Kaiser. 3rd down and 1 at the 34. Josh Adams, the pistol back. Notre Dame so confident with their ground game tonight. Quarterback sneak. First down. Stanford saying they have the football. But I don't think the officials agree.
Much of the patience from Kaiser. He hops over, finds the weakness in the defense, and then runs forward for about as many yards as you're ever going to see on a quarterback sneak. Clearly down, seated on the ground before that ball came out.
On 3rd down and 1, Kaiser gaining 4. 1st and 10 at the 38. They hand it off to Adams. Adams breaks it. Midfield. Look at his speed. He's a freshman. See you later. Touchdown Notre Dame. 62 yards.
You're going to get the motion here. At that point, all the defense is going to flow to their right, and they bring the counterplay all the way back. It's another convoy of blockers, and once Adams sees that lane, he is gone. Remember, this is the same player that went for a 98-yard touchdown against Wake Forest. He has got some jets for a big young back.
11 carries, 140 yards for Josh Adams. Remember, C.J. Procise has that high ankle sprain unavailable. He was a backup. So the backup to the backup.
That's why so many Notre Dame fans were excited about this year. There's C.J. Procise in a boot, and Notre Dame will go for 2 now, only up by 1.
Kaiser in the shotgun. Kaiser looking to throw. In the corner. Incomplete. Folks, this game really heating up. 5 lead changes in the last 12 minutes. Notre Dame now on top. (29-28) Notre Dame reclaiming the lead against Stanford.
And there are 3 touchdowns coming on 3 huge plays. 1 a kick return, and then 2 scoring plays of over 50 yards. Stanford gave up 4 touchdowns to Oregon of over 40 yards. They had only given up 5 such plays in the rest of the season. Now Notre Dame taking a page out of the Oregon Ducks playbook with some explosiveness.
And this one being run by Bryce Love. As Love gets to the 25 before being knocked backwards. Let's go to Jenny Taft for a game break.
Gus, thanks. Number 3, Oklahoma looking to turn Bedlam into a blowout. Samaje Perine breaking tackles, for a 25-yard touchdown, his second TD today. The Sooners over 200 yards rushing. It's 41-17 in the second quarter, guys. Could this punch the Sooners' ticket to the playoffs?
I'll tell you what, Bob Stoops making a decision to get back to traditional Oklahoma football.
Running the ball. Running it. That made the whole difference in their season. After that Texas loss, they went to the ground game with Samaje Perine and Mixon, and they've been sensational ever since.
Stanford running. As McCaffrey crosses the 30. It's up to the 31. Elijah Shoemate coming up again and making a tackle.
That's the team. Everybody at home rooting for the Irish is keeping an eye on that Oklahoma team as Oklahoma jumped up into the playoff four. Notre Dame fell out last Tuesday night, and for both teams, this is their last game. The closing argument for the playoff committee being played out before your eyes.
Oklahoma ranked 3rd in the nation. 2nd and 5 at the 31. McCaffrey. No! It's Hogan on the keeper. Devin Hogan. Terrific deception by Stanford on that play.
I think he did that on his own because there was literally nobody else that was blocking for him. Everybody was pulling around left, and Hogan took that ball. I think he did that on his own. That's a veteran move right there. Picked up the first down for the Cardinals.
8-yard game, 1st and 10 at the 39. Bryce Love in the backfield. They throw it. McCaffrey gives it up to Love. That doesn't fool anybody. Does it? Love up the sideline, and he used his athleticism. Notre Dame was standing on the play.
They were. Shoemate was right there, 22, the safety. He read it beautifully, but Bryce Love turns on the Jets, and that's the explosiveness that Stanford has with their true freshman, Bryce Love, from North Carolina. Only 184 pounds, 5'10", but those are the plays that David Shaw loves to dial up to try to get him the ball in space, try to make a play down the field.
Could have been a loss. Instead, it's a gain of 4 yards. 2nd and 6. McCaffrey. Jerry Tillery with the tackle.
Well, you're not going to make a living doing this. They didn't block. Sheldon Day comes in unblocked, and McCaffrey was just able to slip out of the arm tackle and actually gain some yards here and make this a shorter 3rd down opportunity.
3rd down and 1 at the 48. Notre Dame 6 of 9 on 3rd down conversions. Stanford has converted 34 of 37, 3rd in short situations this year. Coming into this game. Right. 1st down.
Brendan Austin comes in the game as a reserve guard, and he actually pulls around. This is so unique. Not many teams in short yardage situations will actually pull a guard because of the tight quarters between the quarterback and the center on that exchange. Remember, we saw the center exchange fumble twice against Oregon in the 4th quarter from this Stanford team, but they stick with it, and they're able to punch for a 1st down.
Watch Kajus, bottom of your screen. Wide receiver, he's had a big game tonight. 1st down at the 47. Hogan steps into a throw. Kajus. Oh, what a catch! Inside the 10. No, they don't give it to him. He couldn't hold on.
They are going to get interference on Notre Dame.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Gus, I don't like the call. Devin Butler and Kajus were hand fighting, and they're going to get him right there at the last moment is when the official reached for the flag, but they've got to allow that to go. That's not contact that is restricting the receiver in any way, and you could even make an argument that prior to that, Kajus actually gave him a little push-off. Devin Butler starting for the injured Kavari Russell. And I think Stanford is fortunate there that they got the call to go their way. I did not feel like that was pass interference.
Cardinal, though, with the football at the Notre Dame 32. 2 minutes to play in the 3rd. Wildcat formation. McCaffrey takes the handoff. And is dragged down at the 31 by Isaac Rochelle. What's the philosophy of that play?
Well, it's very similar to what I was explaining with Kaiser in the run game. Anytime that your quarterback, or even if it's a running back at the Wildcat position, is a runner, what you're doing is you're trying to increase your odds or get the ratios. So it forces the defense to add an extra defender to the run defense because you have more blockers than they have defenders if they don't.
But they know that you're 90% not going to throw it.
Well, you just asked me for the philosophy. You didn't ask me for anything else.
Second down and 9 at the 31. Here's a reverse. Love at the 20. Love down at the 10. So all of a sudden, David Shaw is pulling some rabbits out of his hat,
including using his quarterback as a blocker. He gets Greer Martini there and opens up Bryce Love for a few more yards. That's why his teammates love him. Kevin Hogan, not just a leader, not just a guy that's won 33 career games, but he's gritty. He's tough. He's willing to stick his nose in there and throw a block for a teammate.
A gain of 21, first and goal at the 10. McCaffrey back in at tailback. They give it to him. No, it's Hogan running it.
Sheldon Day is so quick. Watch, he's right here. He's lined up over the guard, and after he makes contact, he's going to loop around to the outside. Hogan didn't see him, thought that the read was for him to take it, and Sheldon Day is right there to make the tackle.
And that is the end of the third quarter. 29-28 our score. Welcome back to Fox College Football, presented by K Jewelers. Start of the fourth quarter. What a game tonight between two top 10 teams. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Molly McGrath, and Mike Pereira on hand at Stanford Stadium. 29-28 to start the fourth.
This is everything that you want as a player. Two great teams, great matchup, both teams executing, and a tight game in the fourth quarter.
Second down and goal at the 10-yard line for Kevin Hogan and the Stanford offense. Christian McCaffrey. Play fake, Hogan rolling, looks backside. Touchdown, Austin Hooper. Fourth passing touchdown of the night for Kevin Hogan.
This is what's available when you've got so many good tight ends, is that you put the play fake and all the direction of flow of the offense to the right side and then sneak the tight end back to the left.
Conrad Ukropina in for the extra point. And it's good. 35-29, start of the fourth. Hogan throwing strikes tonight. Fox College Football, presented by K Jewelers, is sponsored by Sprint. Switch today and save. By Chase Freedom, the card is for the essentials. The cash back is for the fun. And by GameStop, joy to the players. 35-29, Stanford on top of Notre Dame. Kevin Hogan, what a night, folks, on senior night. 15 of 18, 236 yards, 4 touchdowns against the school his father went to, Notre Dame, who Jerry passing away of cancer last year. So this is the final time Kevin Hogan will play on this field, and he is making the most of it thus far. Jake Bailey kicking it off for Stanford. C.J. Sanders, Josh Adams back deep. Line drive. Picked up at the 6 by Sanders. And Sanders Taken down at the 27-yard line. Let's take a look as Kevin Hogan and his night tonight.
Well, he's had to do it through the year because Notre Dame stopped the run game. That's the bread and butter for Stanford. Last week, throws under 15 passes for the whole entire game. This week, he's had to carry the load, and he's done a marvelous job of finding the open receiver, and more than that, overcoming his emotions for all of the reasons, Gus, that you gave. Thinking about his father, playing Notre Dame on senior night, his last time in front of these fans as the school's all-time winningest quarterback. And Kevin Hogan has put together maybe his best performance yet.
First down and 10 for Notre Dame. Josh Adams standing next to Kaiser. Adams, make that Kaiser underneath, incomplete, intended for Amir Carlisle. Looks like Blake Martinez may have gotten a hand on the football.
Such an instinctual player, and this defense, which has bowed their neck in the red zone, hasn't made too many plays outside of the red zone. Martinez almost made a huge one there. Here's number 4. He buzzes out, almost gets his hands on that for an interception. A great job of reading the eyes of the young quarterback.
Second down and 10 at the 27. And a handoff to Adams. And Adams picks up 6 yards on the play. Solomon Thomas brings him down. Now a 3rd and 4 for Notre Dame.
We haven't seen too many of these opportunities for the Stanford defense. Only 4 third downs in the night for Notre Dame. They're 1 of 4 so far.
Remember, Kaiser has rushed for over 100 yards in this game. Empty backfield. Fuller in motion. Kaiser over the middle and deflected. Peter Kalambayi got his hands on the football, and Notre Dame will have to punt it away.
I love that Kalambayi, he's standing like he's going to rush, and he just stops. He's spying Kaiser because of all the rushing success from number 14, and he's standing there. Kaiser doesn't see him, and he's able to get up and bat that ball down. What a huge third down stop for the Stanford Cardinals.
So coming in, Tyler Newsome to punt it away. He's landed 20 punts inside the 20 this year. First punt of the night. Christian McCaffrey, the deep man. And McCaffrey from the 15. Breaks the tackle. Gets to the 20. Before being stopped at the 21. A 52-yard punt and a 7-yard return. Here comes the Virginia. On senior night, Kevin Hogan has been spectacular. Let's see what he does next after this.
Let's take a look at the top 4 teams according to the College Football Playoff Committee. Iowa at number 4, undefeated. They're going to stay in there after a win this weekend. Oklahoma taking care of business in Bedlam. Alabama won today. And Clemson, who got a scare from South Carolina, but they won. That's who Notre Dame is trying to run down. Notre Dame, a 1-loss team, moved back to 6. Now in a dogfight here in the 4th quarter on the road.
First down and 10 for Stanford. McCaffrey. And McCaffrey gets to the 26, maybe the 27-yard line. Max Redfield again defensively. And a look at the college football playoff top 10.
Well, you can do that. You can do that. Everybody else alive. And this game, obviously.
Even Ohio State at 8?
Absolutely, Ohio State at 8 is alive. Depending on what happens in that Big Ten championship game, you know, if it is Michigan State or even if it is Iowa and you get an SEC champion that is Florida, or if North Carolina beats Clemson, the Buckeyes could be sitting right there.
McCaffrey again.
It would take a lot, but I do think Ohio State is still alive.
Brian Kelly led his Irish team to the BCS National Championship game in 2012. Losing to Alabama. 3rd down and 1 for Stanford. Notre Dame. They don't want their chances to slip away, but they need this one. The juice in motion. McCaffrey. No! McCaffrey tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Jerry Tillery shot out of a cannon.
Tillery is right here. He's going to go right up the field. This guy's just a true freshman from Shreveport, and he just wins the battle with number 52, Graham Schuler, who's a senior. The center gets right underneath him. You always hear in football that the low man wins. No better example than the last play. Tillery right underneath the pads of Graham Schuler.
Alex Robinson punting away from the 16. C.J. Sanders, the deep man for Notre Dame. He signals for the fair catch at the 29. A 43-yard punt. 35-29. Notre Dame with the ball after this. To 29, Stanford leading Notre Dame with 11:40 to play in the fourth quarter. Fighting Irish with the football at their own 29. First down. Deshaun Kaiser, the quarterback, and he hands it off to Adams. And Josh Adams has had a huge night. 148 yards rushing on 13 carries.
And he had a tough night against Boston College, who obviously got a great defense, but Kaiser has been pretty good tonight. Adams, 13 rushes for 148. And then on the outside, Will Fuller, 5 catches, 122 yards. This offense has been explosive. They need to find another explosive play here.
Second down and 7. Adams, and this time he is stonewalled. Terrific job by this Stanford defense. Solomon Thomas leading the way.
Well, this defense on the last 2 series has been the best that they've been all night long. And now for the first time, Deshaun Kaiser's going to have some crowd noise to deal with and a long yardage situation. Normally, Stanford likes to bring pressure in this type of situation.
The Stanford supporters rise to their feet. Third down and 10 at the 29. Fuller, the receiver, at the bottom of your screen. Torrey Hunter in the slot at the bottom. Here comes the pressure. Kaiser, sideline. Fuller, incomplete. It would have been a tough catch. Will Fuller, who's had some issues with drop balls this season, couldn't haul it in.
I thought he could have caught that ball. You see right at the end, a little flinch of the hands, and he knows it. That ball was accurately thrown. It was on time, and it would have gone for a first down. Those are the plays that you have to make if you're an older veteran player for a redshirt freshman quarterback.
Tyler Newsome punting from the 16. Christian McCaffrey, the deep man. And he has it at the 20. 35-29, Stanford with the lead. Coming up, they'll have the ball. Fox College Football presented by K Jewelers is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company and the entirely new Lincoln MKX. And by K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K. Our aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Everything we've learned making tires that go the distance inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. 2 driven teams competing tonight here in Northern California. 35-29, Stanford. Fourth quarter, 10:15 to go. Cardinal, first down and 10 at their own 20. Christian McCaffrey, the Wildcat quarterback right now. And McCaffrey running it. McCaffrey with a block. And he gets out of bounds. Smith pushing him out of bounds after about an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, it wasn't working in just a static formation, so now they brought the motion across to fake it to him. That was 20, Bryce Love. Bryce Love has done a great job tonight. He's made the plays when he's gotten the ball, and then when he's being used as a decoy, he's affecting the Notre Dame defense and the movement of that defense and creating space for Christian McCaffrey.
Second down and 2 to the 28. McCaffrey. And he gets to the 30 and a first down. One thing McCaffrey has been working on, he's only a sophomore, but the patience needed as a running back behind this kind of offensive line.
Look at what he's doing. He's not only running with patience, but he does everything well. He catches the ball. He's great in special teams. Now you look at the most all-purpose yards in a single season in our sports history. Christian McCaffrey, third, over 3,000. Only two guys to do that. Barry Sanders and Andrews from Western Kentucky. That mark, Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders did the 3,200 yards in 11 games. 11.
First down and 10 to the 30. Here's the pitch. McCaffrey again. And nothing on the right side for him. Stanford running backs coach Lance Taylor compiled a video of then Eagles running back LaShawn McCoy to emphasize the point to McCaffrey about patience.
It's such an important concept, and in particular for Stanford's scheme. They run what's called the power scheme, and rather than trying to explain that to you, essentially what has to happen is that the blocks have to take place from the inside out, and it takes time, and that patience is a must for McCaffrey to read the blocks of the offensive line and find the space.
Second and 10. Hogan to throw this time. Drops it off to Rector. And Rector pulled down at the 36. Our Molly McGrath has more on Christian McCaffrey and his ability to develop patience.
Yeah, you spoke of his patience. He said that talking to some of his coaches and watching cut-ups of LaShawn McCoy in the offseason really helped. He said, in our offense, patience is huge. I've learned to trust in our line and let blocks develop. It's a little thing, but it's made all the difference for me this year. McCaffrey also said that extra time in the weight room has helped him get bigger and employ a more physical running style, and you can see that physicality out there tonight, guys.
Third down and 4 at the 36. Thank you, Molly. Hogan running this time. Hogan modeled up and goes down. He'll gain a couple as Max Redfield comes up again and makes a stop.
Just a huge tip of the cap to this Notre Dame defense. They're playing without one of their best players, Kavari Russell. They're on the road for the 4th time in the last 5 weeks. They've dealt with more injuries than maybe anybody in college football other than TCU, and they're still laying it on the line. You wonder how much gas is in the tank, and yet the effort has been tremendous from the Irish and their defense tonight.
C.J. Sanders back deep. Alex Robinson punting it away from the 25. Sanders backpedaling. Lets it take a bounce, picks it up inside his own 10. And goes down to the 12. A 54-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Now this January, the celebration begins as we kick off the farewell season of American Idol, the show that made so many superstars from Kelly to Carrie to Philip are ready to discover an idol one last time. Don't miss the farewell season, premiering Wednesday, January 6th on Fox. Deshaun Kaiser will start from his own 12-yard line. His team down 35-29. Kaiser to throw on first down, scrambling. On the move, caught Fuller, and he gets out of bounds. Deshaun Kaiser improvising.
And Fuller's going to have all the space in the world to operate underneath because of his explosive nature down the field. They're playing so far off of him. If they want to complete these short passes, they're going to be available all night long.
Fuller, 6 catches, 136 yards. 15-yard gain, first down and 10. And Adams tries to cut it back, tripped up and taken down. Kevin Palma, the junior from Pixley, California, making the tackle.
And a good tackle in space. I'd say it's the best attribute that any defender can possess, and any possession is the ability to tackle in space. And Palma gets Adams down to the ground there in space after a few runs in which we've seen Adams be very elusive in those situations.
2nd down and 7. Carlisle, the motion man. They hand it off to Adams with running room, stays on his feet, and stumbles to the 40-yard line, picking up 10 yards.
That play has been so good for Notre Dame. They pull the guard and the tight end, and they bring him around the corner. Stanford has not adjusted very well, and Adams has had all sorts of room to run on that particular concept.
5:23 remaining in the 4th. 35-29 Stanford. 1st down and 10. Notre Dame at their own 39. Kaiser, near side, incomplete. Torrey Hunter, the intended receiver.
Felt like Kaiser just rushed it ever so slightly, and that's why the ball tailed off and went away from Hunter. He was a little wide with his feet, to get too technical on you, Gus, but he didn't throw it accurately because of that. And now they're in a longer yardage situation. Again, this is where Stanford loves to bring the pressure. And also what they've been doing is spying Kaiser to not allow him to run the football after he's been so effective tonight, over 100 yards.
2nd and 10 at the 39. Kaiser with time. Kaiser. And he just sails this one out of play. Good coverage by Stanford.
The safety's way deep. Man coverage being played underneath it. Palma was the one watching Kaiser in order to spy him down the field, but nowhere to go with the ball, and he had to burn it. And now here's a 3rd down opportunity for Stanford.
3rd down and 10 at the 39. What does Brian Kelly have up his sleeve? Empty backfield. Kaiser in trouble over the middle. Caught. Corey Robinson down at the 40. A 21-yard gain on 3rd and 10.
I mean, you talk about courage to wait in the pocket. The route from Robinson's going to take a while, and Kaiser has to adjust in the pocket, wait a beat, and then throw the ball. And Robinson finally comes open on that in cut, and it's a completion. That's a big-time throw from Deshaun Kaiser.
1st down and 10 at the Stanford 39. Carlisle, the motion man. Here's the handoff. Adams spinning. And he'll back his way down to the 35.
They went back to that same concept I was speaking of earlier, trying to get Adams over the right side with the pulling guard and tight end in front of him, but Stanford was ready for it. If you call a 4-yard gain, ready for it. That's how dominant Notre Dame has been tonight in their run game.
2nd and 6 at the 35. Adams straight ahead. And he'll get to the 29. Cody Whitfield with the tackle. 1st down, Irish.
Such an interesting point in situational football. Now, under 4 minutes, Brian Kelly can start to think about running the football, milking the clock, and trying to get a score under a minute to not allow Kevin Hogan an opportunity late.
But remember, Notre Dame has had trouble scoring touchdowns inside the red zone tonight.
They haven't done it. All of their touchdowns have been big plays. The return from Sanders, big plays from Adams and Fuller. As they're going to get a new set of downs here. But Gus, their offensive line has been so dominant. They've been running the football. They've run it 29 times for 9.6 a carry. Adams has been great. Ronnie Stanley, Quentin Nelson, Nick Martin, Steve Elmer, Mike McGlinchey. They have been dominant up front. And there is a possibility that Notre Dame could milk the clock, running the football, potentially score and leave Stanford no time on the clock.
1st down and 10 at the 29. 3:26 remaining. Dexter Williams checks in at running back. Kaiser. And he'll get to the 25. Blake Martinez defensively for the Cardinal.
No hurry here as the clock is going to hit 3 minutes and counting. The Stanford defense has been terrific.
They've been bend but don't break inside the red zone. Can Notre Dame figure them out? 2nd and 6 at the 25. Kaiser, he'll run. And he gets inside the 20. Now it gets interesting for Notre Dame and Stanford.
And with all their timeouts left, now David Shaw is going to have to start thinking about when he wants to take his timeouts so that he can make sure that if Notre Dame scores, he has a chance with his senior quarterback.
1st down and 10 at the Stanford 17. Kaiser lets it go. Robinson out of bounds inside the 10. Corey Robinson, the son of NBA legend David Robinson, the Admiral, NBA champ, 50 greatest player.
And right now the biggest catch of the game on that 3rd down, extending the drive with Kaiser getting pressured in the pocket. And I like what Notre Dame is doing. The adjustment that Brian Kelly has made now is they're trying to spread it out, keep Stanford spread out in order to then throw the bubble screens or run the quarterback.
12th play of the drive that started at the 12-yard line. 2nd and 2 at the 9. Kaiser wants to run. And it'll be tackled for a loss. At the 10-yard line, Kevin Palma bearing down with 1:33 to go. And remember, Joel, in the first half, Notre Dame with a couple of opportunities inside the red zone to score touchdowns, but Stanford forced them to settle for field goals.
Wasn't 4-down territory then. This is 4-down territory, down 6. Surprised Shaw's not using some timeouts to save some time.
3rd down and 3 at the 10.
Timeout. Notre Dame. 1st timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
(35-29) Stanford, 1:11 to go. Notre Dame with the football at the 10-yard line. David Shaw, Brian Kelly, both these teams trying to keep their college football playoff hopes alive.
And desperate to do so. David Shaw and his team with a Pac-12 championship game next week. But this is it for Notre Dame. 1 minute and 11 seconds in their closing argument to the College Football Playoff Committee.
3rd down and 3 at the 10. DeShone Kaiser has been terrific. Kaiser runs it himself. And he will not pick up the 1st down. Blake Martinez denied him. So that brings up a huge 4th down and short.
The season for Notre Dame comes down to this, needing a score half a yard short. 1 snap of the football for the Irish. And they have to convert.
Under a minute to go. 4th down and 1 at the 8. The Notre Dame offensive line has gotten great push against Stanford tonight. Kaiser gives it up. Adams cross forward and picks up the 1st down. He almost got in. 1st down and goal at the 2 for Notre Dame.
Timeout. Notre Dame. Their 2nd timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
1 timeout left.
Notre Dame has been here before. 3 wins when trailing in the 4th quarter this season. Virginia, Temple, and USC. Game-winning touchdown pass with 12 seconds against Virginia. That was DeShone Kaiser's first meaningful action. And now they're 2 yards away from saving their season.
First down and goal at the 2-yard line. DeShone Kizer, Josh Adams in the backfield. Kizer bootleg, flag on the play. Kizer gets in, touchdown Notre Dame. But there is a flag.
I think Stanford was offside.
Offside. Defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play. Touchdown.
So with 30 seconds remaining, DeShone Kizer, Herculean effort in the fourth quarter. He gets in. But was he down is the question. Yes, he was.
So hard to tell exactly where the ball is, but as he's rolling over, it does look like he might have been just a bit short, and now the officials will blow it dead.
Touchdown.
To look
the
at
previous
it.
play is under review.
That left side and left leg of Kizer definitely goes down. Terrence Alexander, the corner, sophomore from New Orleans, is trying to make a play here, and it does look like he's short as that leg is down on the ground. It's important here, Gus, that they can go back. If this is overturned, which we think it is, they can go back,
take the penalty,
and take the penalty.
So if they take the penalty, they'll get a yard and first and goal from the 1 with 30 seconds to play. Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly will put the penalty back on, but now think about this, though. The clock, once the referee sets the ball up ready for play, the clock will restart. So they'll either let them get set up for play, or Notre Dame's going to have to use their final timeout to keep the clock stopped.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Wow. So it's a touchdown for Kizer, and Notre Dame with an opportunity to take the lead with 30 seconds left. Justin Yoon has been perfect on the night. DeShone Kizer, his holder. And he gets it. 36-35 Notre Dame. 30 seconds remaining. Classic. 36-35 Notre Dame leading Stanford with 30 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And I tell you what, Joel, I thought that Kaiser's knee was down. I'm shocked that that play wasn't overturned.
I'm also shocked. Now, you know, we've seen all year long in replay them being a little overzealous, you know, and going above that standard of beyond a shadow of a doubt or indisputable video evidence. Now, letting the play stand as called on the field is never a terrible idea. I thought it was short, but what an effort from DeShone Kizer and this Notre Dame team.
Christian McCaffrey. They need him now if he can get a chance to return this football. And he will. From the 1, McCaffrey crosses the 25 up to the 26 with 25 seconds remaining. Kevin Hogan has been sensational tonight. He'll be faced with a 1st and 10 at the 27 and 3 timeouts.
And he'll be looking to get the ball somewhere in the neighborhood of the 36 or 37-yard line to try a 52, 3, 4-yard field goal. And with all of his timeouts left, this is important. He can use any spot on the field, the entire playbook at his disposal right now.
First down and 10 at the 27. Hogan steps up, Hogan in trouble, lost it, gets it back. Flag on the play, and this should go against Notre Dame. It may be a face mask.
It did look like it was a face mask. Hogan doing the right thing. He needs to get his team up to the line of scrimmage immediately.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 90, 15-yard penalty, first down.
There's the face mask, but remember now this clock is going to start on the officials ready, and Hogan's doing the right thing. He's up at the line of scrimmage.
Conrad Ucropina as long as 52 yards against Central Florida. 1st and 10 at the 43.
30-second timeout.
You know, hindsight is always 20/20, but Gus, it makes you wonder why David Shaw didn't go for 2 instead of having a 6-point lead. He would have had a 7-point lead.
And the end of this game reminds you of 2012. Stanford traveled to South Bend in overtime. Tommy Rees hit T.J. Jones for a 7-yard touchdown to put the Irish up 7 points. The game would end on a controversial call on a 4th and inches from the goal line. After review, the Fighting Irish escaped with the win.
Stanford's last touchdown, they went up by 5, kicked the extra point to go up by 6, and you wonder if the decision should have been made to go for 2.
And with 2 timeouts remaining, Stanford needs 22 yards to get into Ucropina's range. Here's Hogan in the shotgun, looking. Hogan up the sideline, Rector incomplete. With 15 seconds to go.
With timeouts at your disposal, I always felt as a quarterback in these situations, the middle of the field was always the softest. In particular for your running backs on some sort of slip screen or even a tight end down the middle of the field. They've got great tight ends, in particular Austin Hooper. That would be where I would attack this Notre Dame defense.
Remember, Kajust has been brilliant. He's in the slot at the top of your screen. Hogan looking. Kajust! Whoa! At the 30! Ukulele! 9 seconds left! A 26-yard gain!
And the middle of the field. Always the softest area to attack, and David Shaw dials up the perfect play to Devin Kajust. Over the 100-yard mark, has had a touchdown tonight, and Stanford is in field goal range.
But it's been Kevin Hogan on senior night with thoughts of his father who went to Notre Dame that passed a year ago. He's been criticized. He was the man that came after Andrew Luck. He lost to Northwestern at the beginning of the year, and they threw him under the bus. 2 weeks ago, losing to Oregon here, fumbling 2 snaps, thrown under the bus again. McCaffrey. They say Hogan doesn't do well in big games. Well, so far, with 6 seconds remaining, the Virginian has led his team down the field, making a clutch throw to Devin Kajust, and now Stanford with an opportunity to win as they call their final timeout. And Conrad Ucropina, a senior, playing his final game here at Stanford from Pasadena, California, with a shot.
Gus, make or miss, Kevin Hogan just played his best game in a Stanford uniform in the last game of his career in this stadium.
Headset off.
Playoff hopes in the balance for Notre Dame.
Conrad Ucropina in to attempt a 46-yarder, make it a 45-yarder with 6 seconds to go. Dallas Lloyd the holder.
Timeout. Notre Dame. Their third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Stanford has seen a last-second kick miss the uprights. It gave them a win. Up in Pullman, Washington State missed the kick that would have given the Cougars a victory over this Stanford team earlier this season. But now their own kicker is on the field with the fate of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and their playoff hopes on his right foot.
That says it all for Coach Shaw. It's up to a senior for Stanford. Conrad Ukropina for the win. Let's go downstairs. Molly McGrath is with head coach David Shaw.
Well, Coach, what a game. This matchup has turned into a heated rivalry that always ends in dramatic fashion. What's your reaction to that game-winning field goal?
Resilience of our older guys. You know, we know how it is. We've been beaten up. We've come back and fought. We got beaten up again. We come back and fight. I can't say enough about our senior leadership. Kevin Hogan, Devin Kajus came up huge today. Just all the guys, special teams. This is a really, really good Notre Dame team, and they fought all the way to the end, and it came down to whoever's going to have the ball last.
I asked you about Kevin Hogan's confidence at the half, and you said he's steady. How crucial was his poise and his leadership in this win?
You're talking about a young man that's been through a lot, on the field, off the field. I love him. I trust him, and he's like an old guy right now. He's lived so long. He knows so much. He just directed the team, and we got down. He brought us all the way back. I can't say enough about that. The toughness, the resilience. Once again, this is a good Notre Dame team, and we got after them today.
You told us that you bristle at the fact that some people would consider this win an upset. What kind of statement did your team make with this game today?
Here's the thing that people have to understand. College football, there's a lot of parity. There's a lot of parity. Anyone, especially in the top 25, can beat anybody else. There's no such thing as an upset. The rankings don't matter. All I know is a lot of really good football teams, and you got to find a way to win, and our guys did that tonight.
All right, congratulations, Coach. Great win.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a look at the Dr. Pepper one-of-a-kind play of the game. No surprise right here.
What a kick. Conrad Ukropina, right down the middle, the biggest kick of his life. The Dr. Pepper play of the game. He's going to remember that until he's an old man.
And we will be back to wrap things up right after these messages. The celebration continues at Stanford as the Cardinal defeat Notre Dame in spectacular fashion, 38-36. Gus Johnson, Joe Klatt, partner, what a game.
How about that? I mean, I'm still trying to take in what we just saw, you know, because there was a team. I'd be remiss if I didn't start with Notre Dame, because their season, you think about the injuries that they've had, what they've had to deal with, and to be in this position with a redshirt freshman quarterback with Stanford on the road for the last 5 games, you think they might run out of gas. all the credit in the world to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They had a wonderful season. Unfortunately, it ended 2 points short because they're not going to be in this college football playoff. And then 6 lead changes, and the senior, Kevin Hogan. This guy has had such a unique career following Andrew Luck. He comes in, he loses his father last year. Guy plays with the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he plays his best game of his career in his 34th win tonight in his last home game here at Stanford Stadium. He was really terrific. I thought he was calm in the pocket. He picked up some first downs with his feet, and then when it was on his right shoulder or nothing to get the ball down the field in order to give Ukropina a chance at that field goal, he made the play. He made the play. Kevin Hogan was tremendous tonight.
All right, so Kevin Hogan able to really scratch out his nickname Gritty, gritty performance tonight as Stanford wins the football game. And our Molly McGrath had a chance to catch up with Kevin Hogan after the game.
Kevin, your final game at Stanford Stadium, and it's a rivalry game win over a team that you grew up cheering for and your father's alma mater. Where does this win rank in terms of career moments for you?
Number one all time. Number one of all time. You know, to come out here on senior day against an amazing Notre Dame team and just fight till the end. You know, they went out with a score 30 seconds left, but that's the way the game went. We kind of figured that whoever had the ball last was going to come out on top, and Devin Cajuste made a great catch, and then Conrad Ukropina just icing his veins.
This game always ends in really dramatic fashion. You beat a really good Notre Dame team. What does this win say about what you guys can accomplish moving forward, heading into the Pac-12 championship game and beyond?
It just means we got to keep stacking them. You know, we got 2 in a row. We got a good team next week down at Levi Stadium, but just keeping the momentum going, and we're going to get back to work, but it feels good to get this trophy.
All right, congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you.
Stanford wins the Legends Trophy as they defeat Notre Dame. Up next for the Cardinal, the Pac-12 championship game against USC. 38-36, the final. An instant classic as Stanford comes back to beat the Fighting Irish. Next week we'll be in Indy for the Big Ten championship game as number 4 Iowa takes on number 5 Michigan State for a conference title and a possible playoff berth. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. That wraps it up from here in Stanford. For Joel Klatt and Molly McGrath, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long.